Ready for another spooky, scary story from the dark depths of the creepy forest?
The last hike Jess and her friends loved hiking, especially in the dense, shadowy forests of whispering pines. The woods had a reputation for eerie tales, phantom voices, shadowy figures, but to them, it was just local folklore. On a chilly autumn evening, the group decided to tackle a lesser-known trail before sunset. The trail wound deep into the woods, where the trees stood unnaturally still, their bare branches clawing at the sky. Jess felt a strange pressure in the air, like the forest was holding its breath. "Creepy, right?" joked Kyle, the group's prankster, as he snapped a picture of the surrounding gloom. "I swear I hear someone following us," said Mia, glancing back nervously. "There's no one out here," Jess reassured her, but her voice faltered. She'd heard it too, a soft crunch of leaves, always a few paces behind. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the path, the group stumbled upon a crude wooden sign nailed to a tree. The words, "Do not continue," were scrawled in red paint, dripping like fresh blood. Kyle laughed nervously. Probably just some local trying to scare people off. Ignoring the warning, they pressed on, the atmosphere growing heavier with every step. The trail led to a clearing dominated by a massive tree. Its twisted roots clawed the earth, and its gnarled branches stretched out like skeletal arms. A rope swing dangled from one of the branches, swaying gently in the still air. "This is unsettling," Mia whispered. Kyle, always the brave one, approached the swing. "It's just a creepy old tree. Look, it's even got a swing. How cute." He gave it a push and the rope creaked ominously. That's when they heard it, a low, guttural voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Leave," it growled. Panic set in. "Let's go back," Jess said, her voice trembling. But when they turned, the trail was gone. The path they'd come from had vanished, replaced by an impenetrable wall of trees. "We're lost," Mia whimpered, tears streaming down her face. "No, we're not," Kyle said, though his bravado was cracking. "Let's just—" Before he could finish, the swing rope snapped, falling to the ground with a loud thud. Jess's heart pounded as a figure emerged from the shadows of the tree, a tall, emaciated being with hollow eyes and skin stretched taut over its bones. It pointed at Kyle. "You!" it rasped, its voice echoing unnaturally. Kyle stumbled backward, tripping over a root. The figure lunged, its long, claw-like fingers wrapping around his ankle. He screamed as it dragged him toward the tree, his nails clawing at the dirt. "Help me!" Kyle shrieked, but Jess and Mia were frozen in terror. As Kyle was pulled into the base of the tree, the trunk seemed to ripple and shift, swallowing him whole. His screams echoed briefly before being silenced. Jess and Mia ran blindly, the forest twisting around them, always leading back to the clearing. Each time, the tree looked darker, its branches heavier, and the swing now swayed with the weight of an unseen force. Desperate, Jess grabbed Mia's hand and whispered, "We need to stay calm. It's trying to scare us. We'll find a way out." But Mia shook her head. "There is no way out," she said, her voice hollow. Jess turned to look at her friend and froze. Mia's face was pale, her eyes dark pits, her lips curled into an unnatural smile. "You shouldn't have come here," Mia said, her voice overlapping with a guttural growl from earlier. Jess stumbled backward as Mia stepped closer, her body contorting in unnatural jerks. A voice whispered in Jess's ear, "Run!" and she bolted. When Jess finally broke through the tree line and stumbled into the parking lot, the sun was rising. She looked back and saw nothing but ordinary trees, no clearing, no massive tree. The police found no trace of her friends. Weeks later, Jess drove back to the forest, unable to shake the guilt. She stopped at the trailhead, staring at the path. Nailed to a tree was the same wooden sign. This time it read, "They're still waiting?"
If you have not already, like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button.